Right, hello and welcome to yet another video based here in City Gym. So this morning I've had 2 cans of Monster. I was debating having a third. The Lewis Hamilton one, there's only like four of them left and they're possibly the nicest Monsters I've ever had. But Alex so kindly gave me some Elemental pre-workout that I'm going to start today's video off with. So I've never had it before. It's called a focus enhancer. I really don't know how it's going to get me the focus, if there's any legal or indeed illegal substances in it. But anyway, we're going to get this down the hatch and we're going to get straight into today's arm workout. Right, that was probably a bit more than the standard serving. So there's about 200 fantastic. There's 200 milligrams in a scoop. I'm probably taking about a scoop and a half. That brings my total caffeine intake to today to greater than 500 milligrams, which is probably near the upper limit of what most people should be reasonably consuming on any reasonable day. But in any case, we're gonna get stuck straight into an arm workout. So I'm gonna start off with close grip bench press. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, I'd like to start off triceps with a compound exercise. So if I wasn't doing a close grip bench press, I would be doing something like heavy weighted dips. Now, I feel with these sort of compound exercises, you're going to be able to load them heavier than you will the isolations like the tricep pushdowns and tricep extensions. So, another thing that people used to do with a close grip bench press, if you're anything like me, you used to think the closer, the better. So you'd be doing a fucking balancing act with fuck all space, see that? In between your hands, and then you're wondering why you can do fuck all weight, because your wrists are about to fucking cave in. Right, so it's about shoulder width grip that you want. I like to put my index finger just where the knurling of the bar starts, so that's pretty much ideal for me. So what I was going to say with arms, so with something like a tricep close grip tricep bench press, that's what I'm going to call it now, you can do like heavier weight for slightly more moderate amount of repetitions. When you think of most people doing arm exercises, they do really, really high repetitions, but very rarely will they have like a strength-based exercise in there where they're doing a slightly heavier weight for a lower amount of reps. So that's why I like to do close grip bench press. For curls, I'll switch it up from time to time and maybe do a set of 6 to 8 or 8 to 10, just so it's not always high reps, because there is something to be said in terms of building as much muscle as possible as switching up the weight to reps ratio that you're using. The one thing I fucking hate about powerlifting gyms is you have an obligation, it's mandatory nearly, to use a 25 kilo plate. So it looks like you're lifting a lot less weight than you actually are. Whereas what I want is to be able to close grip bench press and show off to the camera and have like 2 20s, maybe a 10 or 15 either side. But here you just have, if you're lucky, 2 25s. You might notice the grip that I'm using. So it's called the suicide grip, so you probably shouldn't look to replicate me. I just find it more comfortable for me to have my thumbs back behind the bar, whereas most of you, I'm going to recommend, because you probably end up dropping the bar on your neck and killing yourselves, to wrap your thumb around the bar, or the foot of your palm rather, that you're going to be able to catch it. So something like that is what I'd recommend. But for those of you who don't give a shit about your life, you can leave your thumb behind and do the suicide grip. Right. 12 close grip reps of 120. Be careful with a close grip bench press. Make sure you have a spotter doing it, as you saw on the last rep. It's different to like a typical bench press. I think with a typical bench press, you could relatively well assess how close you are to failure. Sometimes with a close grip bench press, you can just do 1 rep and your triceps can just give out in the back and get stuck. So if you're really pushing to failure with it, get someone to stand over the back of the bench. So in order to build these, I'm going to show you off in a while. I'm not taking the pump cover off just yet, but in order to build these, I used to do like a bro split when I first started in the gym. So in a 7-day period, I used to do like a total of 2 arm days, fully dedicated to just arms. So I do like 3 triceps or 4 triceps and 2 or 3 bicep exercises and repeat that twice a week. So when I started off, I did just so much volume from my arms that they grew to a point, whereas in order to maintain that, I didn't have to do as much volume later on. So if you're struggling to grow your arms, it's just going to be something that you prioritize. Most people train their arms with wank intensity, or they might just do 1 or 2 exercises at the end of, let's say, a chest day or a pull day. You have to prioritize them, train them when they're fresh. As if they're a weak body part for you, do an arm day. Maybe even fucking do 2 of them for a while until you build them up to a level that you're happy with, and then you can strip back the volume later on. Yeah. Oh yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Because all my weight is on this all the time.
And then when it's like front, it's always going to be opposite or...
Yeah. Or like go on your toes to your back foot, you know, you want to spring, especially if you're throwing hooks.
Right, a lot of people gave me shit because I presented a very reasonable argument as to why it mightn't be so easy to conclude that a rope is always superior to a straight bar. Just so you know, I'm not against the rope. I'll do the rope as much as I'll do the straight bar. But my whole fucking thing about it is I just hate hard and fast statements being made in the absence of actual quality evidence about what exercises are superior or indeed inferior to other exercises. Because at the end of the day, if you're thinking about it, all of these people who post that this is a shit exercise, that's a shit exercise, this is better than that, you're just increasing the barrier to people actually getting into the gym and being productive with exercises and building muscle with them over time. Yes, there might be some exercises that may target muscles slightly more efficiently than others, but at the end of the day, most exercises, bar the obvious exceptions, are going to do a very, very good job at building strength and building muscle. So reduce the barriers to entry to the fitness industry, to the gym, for people who are just starting out, and stop fucking filling their heads with shit, with stuff that in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. Should probably take off the jumper given the fact that I'm the size of Thor and I'm there doing arm exercises with a full jumper on. That's better. So you'll always see with the lowering phase of any exercise, tricep push down, squats, bench press, I'm always in control of the weight as I lower it back to its starting position. And the eccentric roll, or the eccentric portion, the lowering portion of a lift. So for example, when I'm moving from this position to the top position, that has a big role in overall muscle growth and development. So you should always be in control of that lowering phase, but not excessively to the point that it's taking you 6 or 7 seconds to lower back to the start position, because that in turn is going to affect how many reps you're going to be able to do. So the way that I like to describe it is you're as forceful on the way down, but you're in control of the weight on the way up. Just try some push downs done. We're going to do a incline dumbbell skull crusher next. With this exercise in particular, what I like to do is at the bottom position, twist my palms so that my palms face the floor. So many people do this exercise and just do that. They might touch their shoulders and come back up. I personally like to get to this position, rotate my palms towards the floor so it gets me a little bit of additional range of motion at the bottom, and then twist them back up to the top position. Rotate, twist. I've said this before, but when it comes to arm training, I'm not like meticulously monitoring the amount of reps times weight that I'm doing. I just like to come in, get a good pump out of them, know that I'm pushing myself pretty close to failure. With arms, I'm pushing fucking past failure. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They're a small muscle group. They can easily recover compared to something bigger like your chest or your back. My whole focus is literally just frying them to the best of my ability, getting a good pump. I have a massive pump now on my triceps. Once I'm feeling that way, I know that I'm in a good spot with the intensity of my training, and it hasn't let me down so fucking far. Right, so that's triceps done and dusted. Now we can move on to a slightly less boring muscle group to train. That's gonna be biceps. Triceps, it is what it is. Gets a bit boring after a while. Biceps, I think maturing in the gym is realizing that a bicep curl is a very boring exercise, just slightly boring than tricep section. Hammer fist to the back of the head. Common thing I see people doing wrong with any form of a curl is they cut the range of motion very, very short on it. So, for example, instead of lowering all the way down to the start position, so nearly full elbow lockout like I do, they'll stop kind of short here, then they just keep going like that. It's the whole range of motion that your bicep is able to access there. If you want the best possible pump, you want the best possible guns, make sure that you're using full range of motion with pretty much any exercise. So when it comes to bicep exercises, I don't overthink exercise selection too much. A couple of exercises with an underhand grip, some with a neutral grip. But one thing I have taken from the optimal bros is that I do like to look for at least one exercise in that lengthened position. So when your arm is behind your body, it's just going to stretch out the bicep a little bit more. For me, definitely 100% feels like I get a better pump off it as well. I'll also try and include one exercise from in front of the body, so something like a preacher curl, whether a dumbbell or an easy bar preacher curl. That's going to emphasize the bicep in the shortened position. So if I can get a lengthened position exercise, a shortened position exercise, and then just whatever else I'm feeling on that particular day, that's what I would include as part of an arm workout. I said food for thought, and JB goes, oh, I'm fucking starving. Could injure myself. It's bad for my muscles to push to failure. Pussies. Man, it's so sharp. Suboptimal bicep.
See big boys deadlift.
Don't do 5 more reps, I'm gay. Oh no! Oh, he's left. Brother, please! Shut the fuck up. Oh, let's go. Yes, yes. Oh. Whew. So, last exercise of this extremely drawn out arm day is going to be a seated dumbbell hammer curl. So this variation I like because I can allow my arm to drift a little bit behind my body, which I find gives me a slightly better stimulus on the bicep. Again, this is just personal preference. By no means you need to do this. You could also do a standing dumbbell hammer curl, you could just do a regular seated one. In any case. The benefit of the back pad ensures that I'm reducing the amount of momentum that I'm using. So I'm really driving my back, sometimes even my head, into the bench. So I'm not, if I was standing, I can nearly rock back and forth to get the weight up, but you can't do that if you're seated, and you're ensuring that your back is welded against that back pad for the duration of the movement. So I'm really concentrating as much as possible on just ensuring that there's flexion at my elbow. I'm not swinging the weight forward like that. If you look at my elbows, they stay in the same position, but it's just my hands essentially that change position. Right, so that is the arm day over and done with. 3 tricep exercises, 3 bicep exercises. If you're looking to build up your arm, if there are arms, if they're a weak point for you, well then maybe have a go at allocating at least 1 arm day into your training schedule throughout the course of a week. So now we're off to the Jasmine Palace. If you're watching the last video I threw up from last Sunday, we got denied entry in because it was fully booked, but we haven't booked this time. We're going to try the buffet. I've never actually been in there. Going to see how many calories I can put down, and we shall see you inside. Right, so we're back here for round 2 of the Jasmine Palace. The boys are already inside. Jamie was just finding parking, but we're going to see what damage we can do to the buffet inside. So let's see if we can get our money's worth out of the 20 quid or something that's going to cost.
I don't know. You try it there. See about food you have.
Plate numero uno, finesse. I'm gonna say I've probably got 3 plates in me. That was fucking delicious. I'm gonna get Steve's Asian style chicken neck, honey roast pork.
And sirloin steak.
And steak. Of course I'm gonna get steak.
No.
Right, so plate number 2 we have, recommended by Wheels Hogan himself. We have some steak. We have Asian style chicken, mashed potato. I don't know what else is on there. Dribbled in sweet and sour, sweet chili sauce. All the rest of it. Probably my new fucking favorite place so far. So the only thing is though, it is a bit steep. It's like 35 quid. So you know, you'll take what you can get. I was expecting 20, 35. Still a good deal. Still a good deal. That's why I reckon I could do damage in this place. The fucking food is top notch, to be fair. Chinese delicacy. The only place that you don't want to go is the vegan section, because they've got like cauliflower wings. Who the fuck's coming to a buffet and having black bean salad and fucking cauliflower wings? Not me. Right, that is the aftermath of the Jasmine Palace. I realised halfway through, to my own detriment, that I booked flights to Miami last night, so I'm gonna have to be fucking shredded for there. I think it's like spring break, so I'm just gonna be topless all the time. So I couldn't go for the dessert, I couldn't go for more than 2 plates, kept it to like protein based or whatever. So for 35 quid, didn't really get my value for money. I think it's like 35 on some days, 25 on others. So if you're going in on a day where it's 25 euros, it's definitely value for money. 35 euros, it's hit or miss. It depends on how big your appetite is. But that is all for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me go through a gun show, and you enjoyed the clips of the lads making easy work of the Jasmine Palace buffet. So if you did, make sure that you like the video, you smash that like button, you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure that you tune in to the next one.